And so I really came down with a discerning tool, a couple. And my favorite one that I give to people that you can do, even if you believe God, not believe, it doesn't really matter. It's actually quite a logical tool. It's quite a logical tool. And you can prove that. I could prove it with you with exercises. Like in the moment, you're like, wait, he's right. What's that? So I'll give you the discerning tool. First of all, you have to know I'm not this mind. You have to know. If you don't know this, you're under the delusion still, right? So this ego, like one great disguise of it, Chris, is pride. Absolutely easy one. But there is ones that I discovered this ego that masks itself in that I would never have expected. Like I'm like, I didn't know that was ego. Like, wow, that felt good though. I thought that was God. And sometimes it really tricks me. And here's the thing. You got to understand, you have the greatest universal opponent, quite literally the shadow of God would be the ego, right? So it's like that makes this guy, this thing must be the best at tricking me, the greatest deceiver. So you have to get really good at discerning. So here's the first thing you need to do, just to realize you're not this mind. Just for a moment, pretend you're going to fast for the next 7 days right now. Pretend. I'm just like, actually make yourself believe it, but no, you're not going to do it. And tell me what's the first thing that comes to your mind. What's the first thing you feel? Now, if you're anything like me or everyone else I've done this with, some of the first initial thoughts that come to your mind is either, if you've done it before, you go, yeah, whatever, let's go. If you haven't, it'll start saying, no, how are we going to do this? I'm hungry. We should eat now. Wait, there's something saying don't do it. Now, if you pay really keen attention, your stomach might actually start growling. I mean, I have some people.
That real life is exactly how it just happened for me. Chris has fasted before. I haven't. That is exactly how it just happened for me.
Perfect. I'm in the middle of a fast now. I do it every week now at this point, just to discipline this thing. Okay. So, so what's going on? This whole body and this mind is opposing this pretend decision I just made. Now, you just decided to pretend. I asked you to pretend, which means it's not real. You knew you weren't going to do it. You knew. So, what is this other thing that was opposing you, defying you, the equal and opposite force to your decision? And it's dumb enough. It got caught right there because you knew it's not real, but it still showed up and did its thing. Oh, wait. Oh, we're not going to. Oh, okay. Whoo. So you caught it. Very easy way to go. That's the ego right there. That's the mind, right? That's not you. It can't be you. If it was you, why would you trick yourself into feeling you knew what you were going to do it? And you could do that with anything. Be like, we're not having sex for the next year. What do you mean celibacy for a year? And again, if you're not used to this, try to do something with this that you're usually attached to. You'll start getting really horny. I mean, like sexual thoughts will come to your head. So there's this equal and opposite force, okay, that's constantly like in a balancing way, dualistically opposing you. Okay, that's also the same phenomenon as when you set your mind to a goal and adversity hits you right away. It's like, what? So I'm in this men's group, right, and we're like doing celibacy for like the next 2 months. And I'm like, all right, that's easy for me. It's quite easy. I don't really have too much time for doing extracurricular stuff like that, so I don't really care. But sure enough, within the first 24 hours, I had 2 different girls on Instagram follow me, message me, beautiful girls. I'm like, wow, and then I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay, you got me. See, I ain't gonna fall for that one. And so I look at that, I'm like, oh, this little trickster. At this point, me and my ego dance. I'm like, you can always think you're that guy. It's like those movies, that guy who's always trying to trade, like Tom. What is it? What's a good one? Like Dora the Explorer, there's Sniper. Like there's always something like that. That's the archetype. It's like trying to, I got you this time, and it only gets power when you believe in it. So that's the first thing, is realize I'm not this voice in my mind. I'm not in the mind. The body responds to the mind. Mind doesn't respond to the body. So in other words, the mind could heal the body, but the body can't heal the mind. And so it's the mind that is the control center of this body. So when you feel something, like you feel growling in your stomach, it's because you have to think about something. And what are you thinking about? I need food. And the ego thinks like that. I need. But see, God within us is I am. It's a massive difference. Ego is always thinking I need, but soul is always saying I am. So there's a peace in not needing anything. That's really true wisdom within. Now here's the discerning tool. Now that you know, okay, there's this thing inside me. How do I know when its voice is not God's voice and God's voice is not its voice? Well, first and foremost, I'll tell you a couple of things quickly. One, this is what I realized. God never excites you about things. Like he's never convincing you. This is an interesting one because in entrepreneurship, for me, I always thought the more I felt charged about something, that's divine. That's the thing. God wants me to do this, but it always ended at a dead-end road. But the things I was peaceful about, the things that just kind of unfolded, it was not boring, but it wasn't exciting like a flash. They had a sense of joy to them, and joy and excitement are very different feelings. Okay. Main difference is there is a reality that is true and one that is not. Anything outside of this now is not truth. It's a projection of the mind. So, example, I can only be excited about tomorrow. I can't be excited about this moment right now. But I can only be joyful about right now. I can be in joy right now, but I can't be joyful about tomorrow. It makes no sense. So, excitement is the projection of the mind. It's what's going to happen, which is not where God is. God is in this now with us. So God is the joy of now. I mean, when it quite later says rejoice, Christ and many of the prophets that came that were knowing God, they were walking in that present vortex of the now, the power of God in this moment. That's why they were not affected by people's minds and all because it's all illusions. So first you have to realize that whenever you're excited about an idea, usually it's your mind selling you. And if you pay close attention to that voice, it's telling you, justifying all the reasons why it's a great idea. Now, I've done this with women. I don't know about you. I'm a single man. And so I've had some serious relationships. And every time I got into the ones I'm like, this isn't the person for me, in the beginning, I had 1,000 reasons why this was going to be a great relationship. And then the best ones I ever had, I never expected it. Isn't that weird? Never expected. I'm like, what? So when you get out of the way again, it works well. So I give you an example, a metaphor. And this is the discerning tool of knowing how to logically literally go, that's my ego. So let's say I come and I say, guys, let's go rob a bank. I just watched Den of Thieves. I think it's a great idea. And you go, okay, well, no. You go, well, why not? You go, because, what do you mean, why not? It's wrong. Now I go, well, hear me out. You pay taxes. Banks are based off pretty much government money. It's like stealing your own money. I mean, it's not their money. Second of all, they have insurance. So, like, nobody actually loses money. They quite literally have insurance that insure them if they get robbed. So nobody actually loses money. No one's going to get hurt. Come on. We'll never get caught. I have someone on the inside. Now, as I'm making these examples, there's probably strong morale in some of you. Like, I'm not saying you're going to get persuaded that easily, but tell me honestly, is that mind of yours not already thinking, And so with some people who have less will, have less self-awareness, they'll be easily persuaded. More people that are more conscious, they'll be like, no, because they see how that's just BS. Now, what do we call this? Justifying. It's justifications. All these reasons why it's a good idea. So this is this for sure, as of right now, has not been disproved yet. Every single time I'm justifying something, it's because it's not the right decision. So this is a very logical discerning tool.
That's powerful.
When you have to justify it, it means it's not right. And right meaning it's not aligned with God's principles, your true nature. Now, here's the opposite. Now, this is where it gets really spooky. I love this stuff, okay? Let's say we're walking down the street. We're walking, me, you, Chris, right? And this old lady falls on the ground, starts, what do we do?
We race over to go help her.
We go over and help them. I say, well, wouldn't it be odd if I start justifying to help this old lady? Hey, guys, while she's there on the ground, I says, hey, guys, listen, I mean, we haven't helped someone in a while. I mean, if that was us, you don't have to do that, do you? You don't have to justify doing something that's obviously right? But this is where it gets really interesting. I go, well, I say, why are we going to help you? Because it's right. I go, how do you know? Every time I ask this question, people struggle. Like, I don't know, you just know. What do you mean? How do you know to help a woman? What happened here? You know something, but you can't tell me how. This proves that you can know something you don't understand. So this is now separating the difference between knowing, which is where God resides in the wisdom of knowing, and the understanding of the mind, which is your ego's language. So unfortunately, the most division in the real culprit of our humanity having issues is too many things making sense to us. Because when it makes sense, we're not resting in the spirituality of knowing. Because then that's where truth lies. That's where God is in the knowing, because you're already there. It's quite a paradox. It's like a reverse way of being. And even Christ said in The Chosen is a beautiful scene where, Peter was like, how am I supposed to forgive him? He's done this so many times. Like, you're supposed to forgive him 7 times over 7. It's like, and he goes, I don't get it. Because I don't understand. He goes, man makes it very difficult for himself by leaning on his own understanding. I'm like, you speak that, Christ, you speak that good word. But like, that's the truth. Because we don't understand, we slow down God's process. One of the greatest freedoms I have is detaching from understanding. I didn't need to anymore. That's a real surrender. I'm like, I don't need to understand how this is all working. I just know it's beautiful, it's perfect, and it's God. That's okay with me. I just know it's God, but I don't need to understand how.
One of my favorite passages is in Psalms and David. He's like, "Lord, don't give me any thoughts that are too lofty for me." I love that. That's kind of my
That's
go-to.
so
Is
good.
I don't
That's
get it.
humbleness right
I don't
there.
get it. Don't give me any thoughts that are too lofty because, like you said, you start justifying, rationalizing,
Yeah.
asking those things, and you think you know it. Like you said, the ego. So I love that. So sorry, John, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
you're
no.
all good.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So just to conclude this, if you're watching this, you go, well, how do I practice this? Look at anywhere in your life where you're in a decision or you're contemplating one, and it's all based off your headstrong sensing, making sense of it. If you have to justify it, you should question: is this really what's right? Is this God? Because God doesn't sell you. God's not a salesman. Only the ego is. Only the ego will sell you because it doesn't have you already, so it has to sell you. But God already has you. God doesn't have to sell you. God's just sitting there like, hey, just I'm here whenever you want to realize I'm here. Whenever you want. It's an invitation. God never ever, well, a few times in history, he has come in and made prophets. I mean, like he's quite literally. And that happens. If he wants to, he just comes and picks someone, plucks them out, and he goes, you're doing this. It's like, oh no. But everyone else, it's an invitation. And it might take several lifetimes, and this is part of my own understandings and studies. It might take several lifetimes to get to a spiritual place in your soul where you're ready to accept the invitation. For me, I feel like this is my lifetime. It feels like that way, So don't, for me, it saved me out of a lot of relationships. Actually, this might end some relationships, but that's okay. You shouldn't be afraid of losing what's not meant for you. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've learned from surrendering. If you're justifying your relationship, if the reason why you're with the person you're with is because, oh, look at all these great reasons, doesn't mean you can't have reasons why you love them. But if that's the reason you have to convince yourself why you love them, it means you don't. It means you're trying to find reasons to cover up the feeling of I don't actually know in my heart that you're the person or that this is right. Same with business, by the way. Everyone's miserable, but they're too attached to the money. They can't question it, even though in their heart they're like, something doesn't feel right. That was my struggle. Finally, I let it go, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was right. It's not that I was right, but like I already knew. It just took me a while. Stubborn. It took me a while to really surrender.
If you want to save time on watching all the episodes, but still get all the gold nuggets that we find from interviewing these 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, then you can get all of that inside of the 2 Comma Club newsletter. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com and subscribe.